Hello, 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 mwah. Hello, my beautiful people out there. How are you today? This wonderful Monday afternoon. Yes, can you believe it? It is June. We are in the sixth month of the year. Half of the year has already gone. We're not quite half of it, but we're in the sixth month, right? So by the end of this month, or by the middle of this month, it will be the half of the year, right? Absolutely. And we are in the month of June already. It is the 1st of June 2020. So, welcome to Omega Live with JJ, Woman Without Borders. It is so good to see you. Oh my God, what a day, what a day, guys. I have so much information to unpack for you. You know, yesterday the Prime Minister had a press briefing because yesterday was the end of all the orders, right? All those orders that we have been under, all those restrictions under the Disaster Risk Management Act, right? And so they all expired. They were allowed to expire yesterday, right? And so new orders came into effect starting today, June 1st. And so have a lot of information to give you guys. So, guys, ensure that you press the share button, call your friends and family, okay, invite them to come and watch this program because I have a lot of information to share. You know, my people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Knowledge is nothing if it is not shared. It must be shared, it must be applied, right? And so I am here to give you information so that you can make informed decisions going forward, right? Absolutely. So, um, call a friend. Okay, and remember, guys, um, you can always go into my library because these programs are recorded, and you can always go into the library and and watch again the program to get all the details. So if I do not go over some things, or if you're not 100% sure about what I'm saying, which I try to ensure that all my information is accurate, and I also try to make sure it is as simple. You notice I speak in very simple terms, right? Because I ensure that everyone understands what I am saying. That's the important part of what I do, okay? Because part of the problem we have is communication or the lack thereof, right? And one of the things with communication is language. Sometimes persons cannot understand what we are saying. Okay, I know I speak fast, right? And so I deliberately try to speak slow because I speak fast because of my speech impediment, right? Yeah, but I try as much as possible to speak as slow as I can. Sometimes I do get away with myself, right? Because I just can't help it. However, um, I try as best as possible to ensure that you're able to understand what I am saying and that you're able to get the information that's necessary for you to be able to make informed decisions. Absolutely. And so, without further ado, my spiel. If it's your first time, welcome. A very special welcome to you. If it's your first time, yes, do come again. Do subscribe to the channel. Okay, Omega News is the channel, right? And you're watching the program Omega Live. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, right, where you can absolutely go and comment, share, and like over there. Okay, absolutely. So, because I have so much information to give you guys, you have to give me like a 2 cents. I try to cut down on my 2 cents so that I can give you because there's so much information to impart for you. So, without further ado, I'm going to go into the program and give you the news first, then my 2 cents. Absolutely. Here goes. So, according to the Prime Minister, the Honorable Andrew Holness, Jamaica now has 586 confirmed cases of the coronavirus disease COVID 19. The Prime Minister made the announcement yesterday at the press briefing to address the new orders to take effect today, June 1st, 2020, after the old orders were allowed to expire yesterday, May 31st, 2020. Even as 21 recoveries have been recorded for the same time period, this brings to 311 the number of persons who have recovered from the COVID 19. And of course, I have my numbers for my big data people. Yeah, let me give you the numbers. Okay. Um, I've been having problems with storage, guys, on my phone. The everything is I do on my phone, and so I'm having a storage issue with some of the things that I'm trying to do. But bear with me. Hopefully, I'll be able to do this. Yes. Okay. So for my big data people, the total number of samples that have been done to date is 12,702. Right. And in the last 24 hours, they did 313 samples. Excuse me. Of that amount, as you know, like I said, we have now five new persons tested positive for COVID-19, bringing the number now to 586, and we have 12,081 that are negative, right? We still have 35 that are pending, and thank God we still only have 9 deaths. Okay, so the number of recoveries, guys, have jumped significantly. There are now, as I said, 21 new recoveries, bringing the number to 311, and the number of persons in government quarantine has also jumped to 779. So now there are 779 persons who are in government quarantine, and the number of persons hospitalized. One person has been added to the 27 or 21 persons who have been hospitalized with 2 persons, guys, who are still critically ill. They are still in hospital critically ill, and 1 person who is moderately ill. Okay. Um, Continuing. So to give you some more details for my big data people. Now we have a total of 89 imported cases, right? And I'm going to give you a breakdown of that. So 34 cases we had prior to the reopening, the controlled reopening of the borders, guys, to bring in these persons. We only had 34. Now we have jumped to 89. 32 cases are from the cruise ships. 32 from the cruise ships. 13 cases are from those flights. Sorry, not 13, 15 are from those flights from the UK, right? 8 cases are from the flights that returned from the United States of America, from Florida and New York. Right. And giving our total numbers to 89 imported cases. Okay, there are now 216 cases are contacts of confirmed cases, still 27 local transmissions, 234 of those are under investigation, but those are the ones that are linked to Alarico. I have 235. I don't know, the number jumped up to 234. Anyways, that's what they say. And 20 cases that are under investigation. Of the total number of confirmed cases, we have some 338 who are females and 248 who are males. And you know by now that the total number of persons, the age range is from 2 to 87 years. Okay, so that's my number, guys, for my big data people. I was able to do that. Thank God for that. I was able to do that. Okay, so not much to say on that right now, guys, because you know exactly how I feel concerning these testing that they're doing, right? So continuing with the news. So according to the Prime Minister, effective June 1st, which is today, to June 30th, that's the end of the month, 2020, right? The government has put in place new orders to replace the ones that expired yesterday, May 31st, under the Disaster Risk Management Act, the DRMA. So I'm going to give you these new orders now, guys. Get a pen and paper, and I'll get your information so that you can have it. And even if it is not relevant to you, guys, remember you can always share it with your family and friends. Will find value in that information, because remember that's what we do with knowledge, right? We share information. Absolutely. Right. Okay, so new curfew hours. Let me start with that first of all. Yes, we have new curfew hours, guys. Well, kind of semi-new, so to speak. I think the Prime Minister was phasing us into the curfew hours when it did the 9 p.m. curfew. So that's basically as continuous, as far as I'm concerned, that's a continuation. So from yesterday, May 31st, until the 14th of June, right? The curfew hours are 9 p.m. until 5 a.m. We've been experiencing that for a while, 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew hours. But effective now, the 15th of June until the end of the month, the new curfew hours will be from 10 p.m. until 5 a.m. And I think these guys have been adjusted because they plan to open the borders to tourists starting June 15. So I guess that extra hour is bearing in mind that there are going to be tourists on the islands on the island from June 15th. This is going to be an interesting time, guys. These are interesting times we're living in, and there's going to be some interesting things happening around here, right? So, the curfew, bear in mind, curfew is from 9 p.m. until 5 a.m., but that is until June 14th. Come June 15th, curfew will be from 10 p.m. until 5 a.m. Okay, so no midnight party going on anytime soon. Okay, just so you know. By 10 p.m. you must get home, and of course the permit still has it in place, wherein for public transportation the drivers are allowed an extra hour, so they are allowed to be on the road from 4 a.m., right, and they are allowed to be on the road until 11 p.m., right. But they're the only ones who are supposed to be on the road unless you're an essential worker. And of course, also at that time between the hours of 10 p.m. and 11 p.m., no one should be in their taxi, okay, because they're trying to make their way home, right? And if it's a 9 p.m. curfew, between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m., that's their time. No one should be in the taxi with them, right? That is according to the DRMA, right? The new orders, absolutely. So, continuing, the new stay-at-home orders. Actually, I don't think there's anything really new about the stay-at-home orders per se, because we were phased into it. There are some exemptions to it, so I'll get to that in a minute when I get to the work from home orders actually. So the new stay at home orders require persons who are 65 years of age or older to remain at home, only going out once per day for the necessities of life. So I have to give a little 2 cents about this, guys, because I mean the stay at home orders that they are saying, according to the Prime Minister, it is to protect persons who are at risk, right? The at risk persons and persons who are vulnerable, right? That they must only go out when necessary, and only basically one time per day. So whatever time you go out, whatever time you can choose whatever time you want to go out, up until curfew time according to them. But whatever time it should be must be that one time for the day. You're not going to go out 2 or 3 times. So if I'm 65 and years and older, as far as I'm concerned, all right, I'm going out and I'm staying out for the whole day. It's my one time. Lord, I know. It's not that funny, but I mean you have to got to take bad things make laugh, because I heard Dion Jackson Miller asked the question of the prime minister about this, and I was like, thank you, Dion, for asking what I'm thinking, because I was really thinking about this. I'm like, really, is it going to be perpetual that our 65-year-olds are going to be staying home forever and ever? Really, is it going to be perpetual? Hmm? We're told no, it is not so. And then of course it was asked about what about those who have business of CCRP. I know Jean Laurichin, she basically asked, well, or someone from our organization basically asked on behalf of CCRP, CCRP, the Caribbean Community of Retired Persons. So there are a lot of persons, of course, who are retired, who are 65 and over, absolutely. And so they have, but they still have businesses. You understand? These are persons. These are not old people, guys. 65 years of age is a young age. Yeah. My mom is a young person, right? 65 plus is not an old age, right? So for you to tell a person 65 years and older, they must stay home, right? And then we have someone like Dr. Peter Phillips, who is still running to run for prime minister, and he's 70 years of age. Now, this is a first. I gave it a story yesterday, guys. For those who did not see my program, please go and watch the program yesterday, because I hear a big thing all over the news today. They're talking about Dr. Peter Phillips and Mr. Peter Bunting and all of that. I already gave you all of that yesterday, didn't I? Please go and watch my program yesterday. If you did not see it, you gotta watch it. You're gonna enjoy it. Go watch yesterday's program when I gave you my 2 cents on that. But just to add to that, because 2 cents at this point in time, because based on this story, the point is, if Dr. Phillips is 70 years of age, right? He's 70 years of age. He's opposition leader, right? And he wants to run the next general election. Now, if we still have stay-at-home orders at that point in time, when 65 years and over must be at home, how is he going to run the country? No, he's supposed to be at home too, don't it? Yes, he's supposed to be at home. He can't stay home and run the country. Hmm? Yes, to some extent you can, to some extent. What about those travel trips that you got to make those trips overseas? And what about those other, things that you have to do that requires you to be outside? And you can only be outside once per day. Anyways, guys, that is a developing story, ongoing story that you're gonna hear a lot more about that in the next days, if not weeks to come. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So continuing now with my orders, and that I'm giving you orders. These are not my orders; these are the Prime Minister's orders. Okay. So he also says that the work from home order has been replaced with the work smart, work safe orders. Now, and just for a second, if you're beginning to think that it is original, it is not original, by the way. Okay, he did not come up with that. There are many work smart, work safe comments on the internet as it relates to working. Okay, some say work smart, work safe, and some say work safe, work smart. So, depending on which one that he preferred, he has chosen the work smart, work safe, combination. And so now the new work from home has been replaced with the work smart, work safe orders. So under this order, right? This, not disorder, not DIS order, disorder, this THIS order, right? Um, the prime minister, there are some exemptions. So he has basically said that companies, workplaces, you know, are exempted, right? And companies that have to have their AGM, they know that basically the gathering outside is still in effect, wherein you can only have 10 persons in any one place at any one point in time. You understand? However, because of the nature of the working environment, and the prime minister wants to boost the economy, he wants to reopen the economy, which was never closed as far as I'm concerned, right? It really wasn't closed, right? So he basically is expanding, right, the order so that the companies that have to do their annual general meeting, their AGMs, they'll be able to do so because many of them, have more than 10 persons, right, in that AGM, absolutely. And so, and they have to do that, that's mandatory for a company to do their AGM, right? And so he has made them exempt from this work from home order. Well, no, let me just change. Let me give it the correct name. This work smart, work safe order. Yeah. Um, of course, he said it is very important that persons still wear their masks, practice their hand washing, right? No social, no socializing, as in huggings, no hugging and touching, and all that good stuff that we like to do, right? We like to hug and touch. He says none of that. It must go on, right? And we must practice our physical distancing, even as we try to go about our business. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The prime minister also says that the business processing outsourcing sector, they are basically, as you know, they had put Minister Vaz in charge of that. And so they are subject to certification. Once they have been certified, okay, given the green light by that task force, then they'll be able to, continue their business, start their business or continue their business. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He also said, basically, oh, before I continue with that, let me just basically give you a little piece. So as it relates to the going back to work. So okay, so it's been one big alabaloo, guys, about going back to work today. Some people are for it, some people are against it. As you know, I've given my spiel on that. All of last week we talked about that to some extent, right? Going back to work this week, going back to work today, what that means for many people. And the same thing that I raised on my program, guys, I hear these guys talking about it. You understand? The problem that some of these employers have, especially for the small businesses. How are they going to manage? Because they can't change their location, you understand, and their office is small, and how are they going to practice physical distancing? Um, so there were many persons, with their opinion, sharing their opinion. This morning, I was listening to Power 106. I listen to different radio stations, guys, all the time, and I read different newspapers all the time, right? So this morning, it was Power 106 turn. So I was listening to Power 106 this morning, and it was some very heated debate was going on different subject matter, including the PNP saga, and also concerning going back to work and all that. So, anyways. Um, as you know, or you might or might not know, you know that the Prime Minister put together several task force, right? He had put together several task force. One of the task force he put together was the Economic Recovery Task Force. Now, this is interesting, guys, because if the Prime Minister put together a task force, you'd expect that one, you would wait for the findings of the task force, and two, you would try to implement what the task force has, based on their findings, right? Am I correct? That's why you put together a task force. However, this morning I listened to the program, and on it, this lady, Helen Davis White, excuse me, she is the president of the Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions, and she's also a member of this task force. And based on what she is saying, it was a very interesting conversation I was listening to this morning. They are not in agreement with the prime minister, actually. So again, you see situation wherein the prime minister is being influenced, right? I tell you all the time, guys. I said the prime minister's position don't be deceived. It's not the most powerful position in the land. There are many more people. There are many persons who are more powerful than the prime minister. You understand? Not only in Jamaica. And by the way, in case it's a Jamaican thing, it's a position thing. You understand? It's a positional thing. And so you find that in most countries, that neither the president nor the prime minister is the most powerful person in that jurisdiction. And so you find that many times they are being influenced by other persons who are behind pulling some strings. That's just the way it is, guys. It's just the reality. I'm telling you something we didn't know before. You understand? And here it is. We are finding a situation wherein we see Dr. Tufton, Dr. Christopher Tufton, it's not 100% happy about this either, guys. It's not. You understand? And one of the things that I learned when I was studying psychology is to read body languages, right? Because our body language, even my body language, so you're watching me, right? Our body language says a lot about a situation that you're in. You understand? Your body language says a lot about it is language, right? It is communication. It is non-verbal communication. Your body language is non-verbal communication. So you're actually communicating, even consciously or unconsciously. You are communicating. You understand? Through your body, absolutely, body language. And so I have been observing this gentleman for a while now, and some of the things. If you notice, I've not been very harsh in my criticism of him because I am realizing, studying his body language, I'm realizing that he's not very happy with everything that's happening, but he's what we call in Jamaica being cowed down. Yeah, I see that. I see that, guys. In the interest of trying to reopen the economy, in trying to get to restart and to get things running as running back the way they used to be, which actually they can't. They really can't. But that's what they're trying to do to get things back to where they were. Um, what they're saying no, basically, okay, so we have to live with COVID-19. And don't get me wrong, we know long time we have to live with COVID-19 because COVID-19 is a coronavirus. We know that, right? The common cold is a coronavirus. We know that too. So that was never an issue. The issue and I have said it in previous programs that I have, is the fact that they have, in my opinion, exaggerated situation, and now they're trying to correct, they're putting corrective measures, and in my opinion, a day later, a dollar short, because what you have disrupted the economy, in my opinion, for no reason, right? And now you're trying to set it back, but it can't happen overnight like that. You can't just wave a magic wand and say abracadabra and things go back, to normal. It does not work like that. You understand? Yes, we have a disease called coronavirus disease. You understand? And yes, persons are coming into the country who are infected with it. And it is contagious because flu is contagious. The common cold is, I mean, you know, if you get the flu, people can get the flu from you. Of course, it's contagious. We understand that. And that is why you put certain measures in place, and we get that. But now that you have, okay, said you have done certain things, and now what you're going to do is you're saying, okay, June 1st, open by the economy, go back to work. It doesn't work like that. No, things don't work like that, right? And so you find that a lot of these persons, but they are not, they're not, the final decision doesn't rest with them, so they have to just go along with. And you can see that Dr. Christopher Tufton is one of those persons who have to go along with, even though they say he has the lead, and even though the Ministry of Health has the lead in this pandemic. Nevertheless, you understand, you can see wherein they are being forced to change their opinion and change their mind and do things that they don't necessarily want to do. You understand? In order to please those persons who are money hungry, as far as I am concerned, you understand? Because all it takes basically tightening up your belt, you understand, tightening that belt of yours, right, and practice stringent measures so that you can curtail certain things and look at other areas that you can look at. I mentioned before, you understand, we need to, of course, it's not a short-term thing, it's a long-term goal, but it can start from now in terms of, revamping the agriculture sector and making that one of our foreign exchange earners it used to be. You understand? We used to have sugar cane, we used to banana. You understand? We have all of these pimento, we have ginger, we have a lot of things, coffee that we used to bauxite that used to be foreign exchange earners bringing in all kind of foreign exchange into the country. All of a sudden now it is tourism and remittance. That can't work. Huh? That cannot be. A country like Jamaica that God has blessed, that is so fruitful. You understand? The land is so green, and we have so much to offer agriculturally. How can tourism and remittance be our number one and two foreign exchange earner? So, anyways, Ellen Davis White, who is a part of the task force, she said they put forward their suggestion and they recommended a phased reopening of the borders, a phased reopening of the borders. So, as far as she's concerned, it's a little bit too early opening the borders today to Jamaicans and then opening the borders on the 15th of June to foreigners. It's a little bit too soon, she says. Yes. And the task force made that known to the Prime Minister and his cabinet. You understand that it is a little bit too soon. And they gave the recommendation as to what should be done. You understand? However, um, we will see, we will see, we will see, we will see. It's not something going as the Jamaica and something I go, and something I come. Yeah? Mm-hmm. So, continuing, guys, with the orders, right? So, the markets, those orders still stay in place. Mondays through Saturdays, the markets open from 6 a.m. until 6 p.m. Except on Sundays. Sundays markets are closed on Sundays, but from Monday to Saturday, markets are 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Guys, if you are finding value in what I'm saying, let me see those thumbs up, man. I'm not seeing any thumbs up yet. Give me those thumbs up. Let me see you're enjoying the program, right? Let me know that you are watching and you are actually, since you're not commenting, right, which I invite comments, because if you comment now while I'm on the program, I can actually respond to you, right? But even without the comments, you can send, give me a thumbs up so I know that you're watching. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so continuing with the orders for you. So by now that hasn't changed. The bars are still 5 persons in the bar, including the bartender, right? You know that for places of worship, you can go to your synagogue or your your, whatever wherever you worship. That worship, my opinion on that, worship is a lifestyle 24/7. Okay, but wherever you will gather and congregate with like-minded persons to fellowship, it is 1 to 40 persons per square feet. 1 to 40 square feet ratio, sorry. It is 1 to 40, premises is 1 to 40 square feet ratio. Basically, you must maintain 6 feet apart. The bottom line, right? 6 feet is 36. So, um, where am I? Okay, sorry. Okay, so the Prime Minister also says, okay, that so far they have brought in 2,300 persons under the controlled re-entry program. He gave us a breakdown of the 175 persons coming on the Norwegian, 240 persons coming on the Carnival, 198 persons came in on Disney, 112 came via flight on JetBlue, um, 28 deportees, as you know, two were tested positive for COVID-19, right? We have 29 persons who came in from Fort Lauderdale, right? And we even have, did you know, we have 23 persons who came in from the Turks and Caicos Islands. 23 persons came in from the Turks and Caicos Islands, and also 45 persons from Cuba. So they have been very busy, guys. Busy, 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 busy. People have been coming in left, right, and center. You might not have heard it on the news, but they have been coming in. Okay, so and according to both him and the health minister, they have all been tested right? And we have been given, and I've given you the numbers for those who tested positive versus those who tested negative. So Dr. Christopher Tufton wants you to know, right, that um, so for the because now we have reopened, so to speak, in terms of persons going back to work, there is a workplace protocol. It's a very long protocol. So a copy of it, 28 pages or something like 27 pages, a lot of pages. And according to the Dr. Tufton, persons, because of course it's not all relevant to every single sector, every single industry, right? But for each industry, there is a part, and I heard this morning on Power 106, I forgot the person who was speaking, who said that oh yes, the president of the JE, Jamaica Employees Federation, yes, Mr. One, he said basically that having gone through it, he is satisfied because that is what they were waiting for when they expressed their concerns. Remember yesterday I told you that the JEF was had their concerns, when he said now that he has seen the protocol, because they were waiting for the protocol. Now that they have seen the protocol, then it is doable, and he sees wherein they can actually go back to work, right? Using the protocol. So for those persons who have not yet gotten your copy of the protocol, you can go onto the Ministry of Health website to get a copy of the workplace protocol. Yeah. So when you go to the website address, by the way, is www.moh.gov.jm. That's the website address, www.moh.gov.jm. When you go there to the end of the page, you will find a link that says resources, right? When you click on that resources link, you're going to come up on a link that says COVID-19 resources and protocols, right? That's COVID-19 resources and protocols. When you click on that link, okay, that link will now, you will see the file, right? The workplace protocols file for it to download. So you can, and it will have option for you. You just basically look for the part that is pertinent to you and you download that one. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay. So let me get to something where everybody wants to hear now. Ministry of Education. Yes, so people want to know about this children go because you're the point, you're the thing now. A lot of parents, I think another problem, a lot of parents have, in terms of going back to work, nursing, the nurseries are closed, right? And so, because nurses fall under schools, and so with schools being closed, what's going to happen to the children when they have to go back to work, right? Because some of them can't stay home; they have to literally, physically go back to work. So, anyways, Minister Carl Smoot, Honorable Carl Sumuda, who is the minister with responsibility for education, is not the minister of education, guys. But you know what happened with the minister of education? Okay, we know that story for a different day. You already know that. But he's the minister responsible for education. And so he says basically that we have 132 students, guys, who are actually sitting the CAPE and CSEC. You know that, yeah? The Caribbean Examination Course, CXC, actually has 56,000 of that number that I gave you. 56 56,000 are for CXC, right? And 76,000 CAPE. So in all, 132,000 sitting CXC and CAPE come July 13th. That's when it actually starts, guys. Remember we had said July 27th before? Mm-hmm. And we're saying we had that 2-month period, but now it's not. It has been rolled back to July 13th, right? And so instead of having that 2-month period, now we only have a month and a half, right, to prepare for system. But as he pointed out, and as I have pointed out to you before, guys, and the minister has basically reiterated the same thing. This school year they only had 2 weeks left into the school year now before they started to actually study and prepare and revise and do mock exams for CSEC. Yeah, they only had 2 weeks. So basically, when school reopened next week Monday, which is when classes, next week Wednesday, which is the 8th. No. I was right. Next week Monday, the 8th, right? When school reopened next week Monday, the 8th. For that first 2 weeks, that's what they're going to do. they're going to be going through the last 2 weeks of classes that they would have had before COVID-19, right? They're going to do that first, and then thereafter they're going to have their revisions and the preparation for exam, which will start on July 13th. Now, the CSEC will run until August 4th. So from July 13th until August 4th, that will be the CSEC exams, right? And they tried to do one of the reasons is that they had to move up the date, guys, and it was discussed with the partners, in CARICOM. But it's that we have independence on August 5th, right? August 6th is Independence Day. Now imagine if they had it on July 27th, they would have had to have a break, right? Right at the start of the exam, a couple of days, they would have had to have a break to have holidays and then go back to doing exams. So I cannot understand that. That makes no sense to me either, for you to have that break during taking exam with the holiday period and then go back to exam. So that's why they moved it up. And so now it will end before the holidays season starts, right? So exams will end on July 4th for the CSEC persons, right? For the CXC persons, students, and it will end on July 31st for the CAPE students, right? And of course, you know that school reopens on the 7th, of September. The new school year starts on September 7th, 2020. Now, for those of you who have, oh, before I get to the other one, so also the minister says 3 weeks into September, persons who sat the CAPE will have had the results, right? 3 weeks in September, they would have had the results. The minister also said for the month of September, when school reopens, for the entire month of September until September 30th, they are going to use that period of time as a refresher, right? And also to assess. It's going to be a refresher and assessment program, is what he calls it a refresher and assessment program. They're going to use the time to assess the students to see exactly how much they know, right? Whether or not they can move forward, or whether or not they can stay where they are, or whether or not they need to go back and repeat. Basically, it's what he's saying, right? So he said he's going to be discussing with the parents and all the stakeholders the one involved in this process, um, after the assessment, in terms of what is going to happen to each student, right? So the month of September is going to be a refresher and assessment period, right, for all the students when they return to school on the 7th of September. Yeah. And for those little young ones who want to know which high school they're going to go to, yes, they know the primary, sorry, what am I saying? Oh yes. So for the PEP student, I'm talking about my PEP students here, right? So for the PEP students will know um, on the 26th of June. On the 26th of June, that's when we'll have the announcement for all the PEP students. They'll make the announcement on the 26th in terms of your placement. You'll know at that point in time where you'll be placed. Okay. Yeah, and that's it for Mr. Samuda. Continuing, so let me get to know Dr. Clark, Dr. Nigel Clark, Minister of Finance and Public Service. So according to Dr. Clark, he says the recipients of the PATH program, those persons who are on PATH, right? He says they would have received two payments, right? They would have received two payments up to June. They would have received two payments, but now they're going to get three payments instead of two. That's how they're going to get their extra. They're going to get their stimulus. Instead of two payments, they're going to get three payments. He said also they have some challenges, in the CARE program. Other persons got their grant, but some person did not get their grant, right? So the compassionate grant, that they had 375,000. They received almost 500,000 applications for the compassionate grant, and out of that number, 375,000 were eligible, right? He says from that numbers who were eligible, 375,000, 337 persons have already gotten their grant. Yeah, 337,000. He says for the set grant, right? I remember that number also. I think it was 60,000 persons who applied. Or of that number, half of that number became eligible. Half of that number became eligible. And he said out of that number, 12,000 of them have already received their grant. 12,000 have received their grant. And there were some out of that number, right, approximately 5,000 of those applicants who were told initially that they were approved, that they were eligible, and then they were told afterwards that they were not. You understand? And so, but that was a little mix up, not really mix up per se, but the according to how the system works, right? Because it appeared as though they were still receiving pay, and once the tax office flag this person as receiving payment, then government is not going to give you any stimulus package. You understand? Because it's only for persons who are not working. So if you're still getting paid, you can't get paid twice. You understand? So when they did their investigation and they discovered what happened, so now those persons, those 5,000 persons, they are queued to receive their grant this week, right? Also, um, another 19,000 persons who they've also been queued to receive their grant after they were having problems again. He said the other challenges, bank accounts being dormant, and persons having the wrong name on their account, and all these other issues that they have, having to deal with the banks. So after the CEOs of some of these banks got involved to clear up some of these problems, you find that approximately 19,000 persons will receive their grant this week also, according to the minister. He says also that validation for the general grant will start this week, right? That is a situation because there's a lot of different departments that they have and ministries have to deal with, right? It's a collaborative effort of many different departments and organizations and ministries to get this done. You're talking about the taxi operators, I'm supposed to get are part of that general grant, right? And I've been speaking to a few taxi operators as I take taxis, and they have been telling me they better get me. I better get my money, Oh, let's start the riot. So it's like the operators, they're looking forward to getting their little grant also, right? And so, according to the minister, they will start the validation process this week, so that all those persons will be able to get their grant. Um, then the best cash grant also, he has identified 300 employers. The best cash grant was for those employers who still had persons who are working, but those persons who earned under $1.5 million, right? And there are approximately 22,000. He said approximately 22,000 employees on staff of these 300 employers, and so they will also be processed later this week. Yes, the minister also said that of the total amount of money between the compassionate grant and the set grant, a total of $3.6 billion with a B, guys, B, a $3.6 billion was paid out. Um, to those two, just for those two grants alone, $3.6 billion with that B. I don't know, guys, this is a continuing, ongoing story. And so I will have more for you as the time goes on. Right. Notice I'm not giving you much of my spiel, right? Because it's a lot of information. So, of course, at the press conference, right? Um, the issue of the disabled woman in Augustown came up, right? And of course, I told you yesterday about the petition. They got over the 500 signatures for the young lady for justice, right? For her, Miss Bogle. And so the major Rocky Mead from the JDF, he addressed the nation concerning, and he said basically that Indicom is the one who's doing the investigation. I told you, you can go back into my library, guys. I did a story about Indicom in terms of the fact that they are the overseeing body, right? That they are the independent investigation. They're the ones who do it, both for the JCF and for the JDF, right? And for security forces in general. And there's any issue any problems, you have to let them know. And so Rocky Mead said that within 24 hours of the incident occurring, he had notified Indocom about it. You understand? And basically, the four soldiers who were involved in it, the four soldiers, just so you know, for your information, the four soldiers who were involved, they have been taken off duty. Right, each of them have been interviewed by Indocom. Of course, Indocom is asking persons to come forward who are for person from the Augustown area who might have witnessed the incident or have information. Indocom wanted to come forward with what you know. You understand? They can't do a proper investigation if they don't have all the information. But I tell you again, guys, that's why I do what I do. You can't make informed decisions without the right information. You got to have information, right, to make informed decisions. You got to have knowledge, right? And so I'm giving you the information, guys, so you can make informed decisions, right? And so that is the same to with Indocom. They said basically they are investigating the matter and they're asking persons to come forward. The question was raised during the Q&A point about the soldiers wearing body cam, right? But no body cameras like what they did in the States, right? Okay, it's a matter of they said it's a matter of budgetary concern, restraints, right? They don't really have the money right now as how they would want to roll out the soldiers and police. Well, they couldn't speak for the police because the commissioner was unavailable, and so he could only speak for the JDF. And he said basically they only have a few body cams that they're testing because some before, but they were no good. Maybe made in China. Sorry. But anyways, they got a few more that they're testing right now. So they have to make sure they test them before they give them to their officers, the soldiers, basically to wear. Right. This guys as an ongoing story, and so as I know more, you will know more. Okay. Now, moving on. So court operations. Court operations will resume today, June 1st, 2020, on a phased basis across the island with strict guidelines and health protocols. According to Kadesh Fletcher, who is the acting director of Client Services Communication and Information in the Court Administration Division, sitting of the Circuit Court Division of the Gun Court for the St. Catherine and Clarendon, the Western Regional Gun Court, and the High Court Division of the Gun Court for Clarendon will resume today. Yes, so court session uh, in a limited capacity resumes today. This is an ongoing story. I will have more for you guys tomorrow or another day. Okay. Okay. Continuing. So as you know today, June 1st, guys, today is the beginning, right, of the hurricane season. We're in hurricane season, right? Hurricane season runs from when? From June 1st to November 30th. So we're in hurricane season. And I hear, guys, that it's going to be a very, very active, predictions are it's going to be a very, very active hurricane season. But I could have told them that we don't it. You know that. Time is so hot. The time is so, you know, guys, when the water is hot, anytime the water is hot, you know that you're talking about a hurricane there, so right? That's a hurricane. And the way the time is hot, you can expect that we're going to have quite a few hurricanes this season. And you know, we pray and we hope for the best, but we know God is no respecter of persons. So what happened in one place will happen in Jamaica. All I hear people talking, sometimes you know, I hear people talking, guys, I have to wonder if they think that God is a respecter of persons, because I hear they say, "Oh, Jamaica is so blessed, we don't get this, and Jamaica is so blessed, we don't get that." So my question is, so the other places are not blessed that get anything? When hurricane wash out a place, the place is not blessed. That's why it washed out because they're not blessed. And Jamaica, no, you tell me, with all the crime and violence and the wickedness that goes on into this country, what makes you think you're any more blessed than anywhere else? It is just amazing, guys. You know. Oh, by the way, guys, I have to apologize to you for that noise you're hearing in the background. They're working outside, and it's one of the reasons I kind of started late, because I was hoping that the noise would have finished before I started the program. But they're based on the work that they're doing, I realized it was not going to happen. So I have to apologize for that outside noise that you're hearing in the background. Okay, never a dull moment. Okay. Yes, I was saying to you about the hurricane season now that they say we're gonna have at least 16 hurricanes this season between June and November 30th, 2020. It might be more because we already have two. Most people don't talk about it, you don't hear anything because of COVID and everything that is happening. But do you know that we already have two storms already? Yes, before June 1st. So yes, I agree. But be a very, very active season. And I believe, guys, we gotta prepare ourselves. I believe we're gonna get one in Jamaica here. Right here in Jamaica, we're gonna get one 2020. Is what I believe. I'm not putting, and people say I mustn't to put things into the atmosphere. I'm not putting anything in the atmosphere, I'm just being realistic. You understand? Based on what I'm saying. I'm being realistic. And it's best if you're prepared, guys, okay? Yeah, more than just put your head in the sand and just say whatever happens, or don't let it happen, and then it happens, right? What to do? You put a trust in God that He will deliver you out of it. That's what He does. You understand? Yeah. He never said you're not gonna go through it, but He will be with you while you're going through it, right? Absolutely. We all go through our storms. Every one of us, including me. Oh my God, I go through some storms. You understand? And I'm still going through some storms, but He promises to be with us. Right? He never leave us nor forsake us. Yeah, absolutely. So, the minister of local government and community development, the Honorable Desmond McKenzie, he said that the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, the OD, sorry, PEM, which have the overall responsibility for disaster programs in the country, is equal to the task, is what he says. He says he is not worried too much because he knows that his team, they are ready and waiting. You understand? So let me give you that good news. Let me give you that good news. So, with the Atlantic hurricane season now underway, Minister Desmond McKenzie is assuring the country that it is in safe hands despite the coronavirus disease, COVID-19. According to the minister, sorry, 2020 is posing a great challenge for ODPM, which has overall responsibility for disaster programs, as I said before. Normally, we'd be focusing our attention squarely at this time on the Atlantic hurricane season. But unfortunately, since early this year, we have been turning our attention to the dreaded disease, the coronavirus, which has been wreaking havoc across the world. There is no playbook as to how we respond. Therefore, we have to rely on the experts and on credible information as a people to respond to the crisis. He was actually speaking at a digital town hall meeting online. Yeah, digital. He said while the country is now facing the perils of what promises to be a very active hurricane season, along with the dengue season, don't forget, no, dengue is still around. The people, you don't hear about it, but dengue is still around. People are still, ending up in the hospital because of dengue. Absolutely. And this virus outbreak, the ODPM, he says, is equal to the task. Let me say without a doubt that the Prime Minister, when he officially convened the National Disaster Risk Management Council, indicated to the public that all systems are up and running. The ODPM is well equipped. As the Minister with responsibility, I want to assure the country that all the resources that will be required to ensure that we can respond in a positive and meaningful way will be provided by the government. So you can rest assured that you are in good hands. Okay. Oh yes. Yeah, one little more piece, one little piece more. He said, it would be remiss of me not to mention, though, that there have been some negative comments that have been made about the work of the ODPM by persons who are misinformed. Tell you about misinformation. Persons who are misinformed and are not cognizant of the role of the ODPM. I want to assure the country that we are in safe hands in regards to the management of disasters. He said the parishes such as Clarendon, Portland, St. Catherine, sections of St. Mary, and sections of St. Anne, which have been tourist spots over the years, remain areas of concern, but not without remedy. Because of the work we have been doing over the years, we have been able to minimize in some areas the effects of previous disasters. We might not have been able to deal effectively with all the areas, but we will ensure that it is done. So I want to appeal to Jamaica to ensure that we work together, the minister says. Amen and amen and amen. And on that note, I will close. So guys, I did not give you any international news today. But tomorrow, I promise to give you some international news because there's a lot happening overseas. But you know what? In a little way, let me give you a good international news. Just not informally, not formally, informally, because you know, right? Okay, so serious rioting going on in the States, in the United States, you know that serious rioting. And so basically, what happened yesterday that the protesters took it to Washington. So where in it was in other states, right? Finally, it reached D.C., right? So not Washington State. I mean Washington D.C., right? Where the seat of government is. And so the president Donald Trump, he was rushed to a bunker, right? He was taken to a bunker because of all the protests that they took to Pennsylvania Avenue. Yeah, and so that's my little international news for you. Oh, I'll give it a little bit more. Okay. Oh, and so on Barbados, congratulations are in order for them because for an entire week, for one entire week, they have gone a whole week without one new case of the COVID-19. They've gone a whole week. I don't think Jamaica will be able to say that anytime soon. But we congratulate Barbados, right? They have managed to go a whole week without having any new case of the COVID-19. So so you can't see, you didn't get any international news now, right? You did get some international news. Yeah, I'll have a lot more for you tomorrow, though. Okay, I promise you some more international news tomorrow. Absolutely. Well, but I just had to unpack all of what took place in terms of the press briefing yesterday to give you information, guys. So as you go about your business, you can make informed decisions, right? Okay. Oh, I should tell you one last thing about it. I could have told you another day, but I'll just tell you now anyway, because the Prime Minister did talk about those countries that are in travel bubble. You heard him mention about travel bubble, right? Countries from the travel bubble. He has not given us the list of countries that are in the travel bubble, even though the question was asked of him, yes. However, he says those countries that are in the travel bubble, those visitors who come from those countries will not be tested. They're not getting tested because they're in the travel bubble. And basically, in a nutshell, being in the travel bubble means that basically you have been doing well in terms of managing the COVID-19. And many of these countries would have been doing even better than Jamaica in terms of managing the COVID-19, right? So that they're in the travel bubble. And so these countries are exempted. The visitors from those countries are exempted from being tested of COVID-19, right? Um, but he did say, of course, that all visitors, once they start to arrive June 15, they are still subject to the controlled measures in the sense that they have to go on the Jam COVID-19 app well, they can go on it rather. It's not mandatory, but they can go on it to make an appointment to be tested if they so choose, right? And of course, he said that there are going to be persons who are at the airports, public health inspectors to monitor and to observe persons to see if they are ill, right? And of course, they're going to have, he says, these machines that can do mass testing of body temperature to know if you have any kind of fever or high temperature. You understand, right? So they are thinking of other methods. Also, what he did also say for persons, Jamaicans, starting to arrive today. Basically, he said the persons they have an option. Well, I don't know if it's an option, but how they choose it. But some persons will be monitored via the Jam COVID app on their phone. I guess persons who don't have a smartphone, they're going to be using ankle bracelets, not ankle bracelets, wrist bracelets. I think it says, yeah, they're going to be wearing bracelets on. I think it's wrist bracelets that they're going to be wearing. Um, and of course, they're going to be geofenced, okay, and monitored and tracked and have to report in multiple times via video, right? So you're gonna go through all of that. Even if you're not in a government quarantine, you're gonna be quarantined at home. And you're gonna be monitored left, right, and center. Yeah. And as far as I'm concerned, this is one way of bringing in this thing. They've always wanted this RFID. I tell you, it's in every lie. There's always an ounce of truth. And so for all the people who claim that these people are conspiracy theorists who talk about the RFID, now you're seeing it in play. This has been going on for a long time. Now it's coming up in the open. No, they have no choice but to tell us about it, that they have this technology that they've had a long time. You don't know right now if you're not being tracked because your phone can be pinged. Your phone, as long as you have a smartphone, it can be pinged and you can be tracked where you are. So if the government want to find you, guys, the bottom line, they can find you. Don't think that you cannot be found by the government. Yes, yes, yes. So, guys, that is it for me for today. I've come to the end of the program. I hope you enjoyed it. Give me your thumbs up if you enjoyed this program. Give me a thumbs up, guys. Remember to share the link with your friends and family so that they too can watch and enjoy the program and learn. Okay, knowledge is nothing if it is not shared. I thank you so much for your time. Remember, guys, either as you go out there back to work, if you have to go back literally out there to work, remember that as the Prime Minister said, you have to continue to wear your mask, right? And practice as much as possible being 6 feet apart. I don't see how it's going to work for persons to be 6 feet apart in an office environment. And so I guess if you can't, your employer, as the Prime Minister said, is supposed to work with you to ensure that you can work from home, right? And so I hope for all you guys out there, both employers and employees, that you stay safe at this time. Okay, I hope that the Minister of Health, the Honorable Dr. Christopher Tufton, will not have to say, "I told you so." You understand? In terms of and the Economic Recovery Task Force will not have to say, "I told you so," in terms of opening up too soon. Only time will tell. Okay, and so I am praying for you all as you pray for each other. All right, love each other, show love and compassion to them, show this compassionate discretion to each other, right, and do what the good Lord wants of us, right, to be our brother's keeper and to help each other, right, in this time. Interesting times we're living in, guys, but we are resilient people, right? We know how to survive. We are survivors. And so, on that note, I am going to take my leave of you until tomorrow, same time at noon, God willing. Okay. And so, as you go out, remember to practice infection control measures and physical distancing, okay, and wear your mask. And as I said before, love each other, okay? Not social distancing as not being social with each other, just physical distancing. You must be sociable with your brothers and sisters. We're all one under God, okay? Absolutely. So until then, take care of yourself, okay? Until I see you tomorrow, God willing. Mwah. Love you all. Thank you for watching. And remember again to share the link, okay? Okay, until then, take care, stay blessed, and be a blessing. Bye. Love you.